Hey everyone, let's talk about debt. Yep, that's right. It's time to have the debt discussion. Let me just say up front, debt will not help you to retire early, prepare to retire, or to experience financial freedom. Today I would like to share with you my definition of debt, a couple of disturbing statistics about debt in America, and share a few stories about my not so wise choices with debt, especially early in life. And then also end with a few tips and tricks to help you guys along your journey to being debt free. Hi, my name is Walter, and this channel exists to help others who are wanting to retire early, prepare for retirement, or experience financial freedom. If these topics sound interesting to you, then please consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video. It really does help get the word out. Okay, I'm going to give you my definition of debt. Listen to this. Debt is where you are paying a corporation for the privilege of borrowing money from your future self. Let me say it again. Debt is where you are paying a corporation for the privilege of borrowing money from your future self. Now, I'm not talking about debt that you use to buy rental income, which does generate income for you. I'm not talking about debt that you took out for a small business that generates revenue for you. I'm talking about consumer debt. I'm talking about credit cards. I'm talking about car loans. I'm talking about house loans, big mortgages. Let me share with you some disturbing statistics. The Federal Reserve does a survey of consumers every few years and publishes the results. And I'll put this up on the screen so you can look at it. But there has been a pretty much steady upward trend of debt by older folks. So 53.4% of people 75 or older have debt. And as I said, that trend has continued pretty much upward from 1989. And the most recent survey was done in 2022. So 64.8% of people 65 to 74 have debt. 77.2% of people aged 55 to 64 have debt. This is not good. This is not a good trend. Debt will not help you retire early, or experience financial freedom. I would not have been able to retire early if I had debt. But I have not always been very wise in the use of debt, especially earlier in life. Let me share a couple of stories. Credit card debt. When I first got married, I put all of our honeymoon expenses on a credit card. So when my wife and I, when we got married, we got back from our honeymoon, we had a couple of $1,000s of credit card debt, and it took a while to pay that off. That was not a smart move. And once I got those credit card payments done and through with, I never did that again. Car loans. My first car loan took many years to pay off. It was not fun at all. So we started keeping vehicles for at least 10 years. We started saving up cash. And so the last 2 or 3 vehicles we purchased have been cash only purchases, no car loans. Let's talk about mortgages. The very first mortgage that my wife and I got was for a house that was larger than we needed and cost more than we could really afford. It was scary after the first year, and property taxes, along with the principal and interest and insurance, it all started adding up quite a bit, and it was very alarming. So in future home purchases, we would always be a little bit more careful, not spend quite as much money, not have quite as nice of a house. They were typically older houses. in nice neighborhoods, but just didn't cost as much as a fancy new house. And so as time went on, I made sure that our mortgage payment was never more than a quarter of our take-home pay. And we got those mortgages paid off as quickly as possible and never looked back. We always paid ourselves first, set aside money for emergency fund, and put money back towards retirement. And that absolutely helped me to be able to retire early. And we have absolutely no regrets about doing that. You need to make sacrifices now for the sake of your future self. I know it's hard. Let me share a couple of tips. Pay off credit card debt as soon as possible. If you have multiple credit card balances, start with the smallest balance, pay it off first, use that payment to apply it towards your next largest balance. It's called a debt snowball, and just keep on doing that until you get all that credit card debt paid off. If you have a car loan, consider switching into maybe a slightly older vehicle that's still reliable so you can go ahead and get out from underneath that car loan. If not, just try to double down and get it paid off as soon as possible. As far as paying your house off, consider if you really need to be in that house you're in. If a lot of people end up buying a lot more house than they need, and if you have a large mortgage, consider downsizing. Do you really need that much house? Perhaps so, but maybe not. Is it possible you could sell that house and move to a smaller house? Maybe a slightly older house that needs a little fix-up work that you can do, and you can get out from underneath your mortgage earlier or quicker that way? Just something to think about. Ultimately, you don't need a big fancy house or fancy cars to have a great life. Getting that debt paid off will definitely help you to be able to retire early, prepare for retirement, or experience financial freedom. Take care.